Hi, I'm David Ewing from Firia Labs. This video is about our demo mission pack. So if you are in a situation where you want to demonstrate CodeBot or CodeX or virtual robotics and you don't have much time, like let's say it's a conference or it's a maker fair where you're having students or parents or whatever go through this, the idea is you want to give them a taste of what it's like for a student or for a teacher to get into this curriculum and to really see what the devices can do and see what the students are going to be doing once they learn some Python with this. So you really want to showcase CodeSpace itself, which is this really awesome STEM learning environment, and you want to showcase what the products can do. Now, right out of the box, the teacher will take a CodeX or a CodeBot and they'll start from ground zero. The students learn their first few lines of Python code, and CodeSpace gently and gradually takes them through learning how to write code to do really cool projects. But clearly that takes time, and there's not enough time in let's say a 5-minute demo to teach someone Python. So the point of this particular mission pack, the demo mission pack, is about that use case of like, I've got a short amount of time, I want to do some demos, I want to do something really cool, but I also want to show what you can do with CodeSpace, like what CodeSpace is all about, because that's really something differentiated about these products is you've got this really awesome integrated learning platform. So we don't want to take anything away from that, but it's going to be more of like, here's some code, just see what it can do. So with that, let's dive in and take a look at the pack. Okay, so the first thing to do is to go to sim.firialabs.com and log into CodeSpace. We're going to be using the CodeSpace environment for doing the programming as well as looking at all the online materials that go along with the demo pack. So I'm going to first go to the bottom left-hand corner and sign in. It's free to make an account on CodeSpace. You can use a Google account, or like I've done here, just make your own account with an email address. And so I am signing in. I have signed in with this account before, but it's going to just it's going to drop you right into one of the free mission packs. So you don't have to have a license or anything for those free packs. And it turns out to select a different mission pack, it's up here on the upper left. It's called Select Class, because when a student logs in, their teacher will assign them to a class. So we'll click on that. And even if I don't have a teacher assigned class, I have access to these. Right now there are 3 of these free packs. So you're going to pick the demo showcase. The default demo pack is a virtual robotics intro. And then there's also the Haunted Code Chronicles, which is a really cool virtual robotics activity. But the demo showcase has both physical and virtual stuff in it, mostly physical products. That's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to activate that. And so that drops me right in sort of an intro screen for the demo mission pack. We're not going to go through all of this. This very first missions are comprised of objectives. So if you go look on the right hand side, there's a little panel. It tells me that it's going to take me through a little bit of an intro of what the use cases of this mission pack are, which we just talked about. And then it's going to take me to how to navigate objectives, which is just, like I said, the mission bar has the objectives over here on the right. It's going to take me to teaching about the toolbox, teaching about that there's a text editor and a debugger. So this is something you'll probably want to read through just to familiarize yourself if you aren't already familiar with CodeSpace. This will give you a brief tour of what the pieces of CodeSpace are. So let's go ahead and skip forward. I can click up here on the upper right and skip to CodeX Demos. So we're going to talk about the CodeX first. I'm just going to give you a quick sample of that. It sort of describes what the CodeX is, and then the first objective of this mission is just going to show you how to link with a USB cable. You're going to connect in the USB-C cable that comes, it's the same one that works with CodeX or CodeBot. So I plugged the CodeX in, and then it should automatically show that it's linked to my browser. As you see, it's turned green here, and on the lower lower left-hand corner of the screen, it'll say USB CodeX connected down there. So I'm good with that. When you do complete an objective, it gives you a little celebratory message that you've done it. That's the way that CodeSpace does as students walk through each objective. Now, normally in CodeSpace, these objectives over here are locked, and the student can't get to the next one until they've completed the current one. But since this is a demo pack, we've unlocked all the objectives, so you can skip around, even if you haven't completed them yet. But you see, I got the little green check mark. That means I actually did the thing in that objective. So in this case, it was just, connected to my browser. So yay. So the next thing is there's a really simple example of running a little bit of code to put something on the screen of your CodeX, to display something on the LCD. And you can see all these little toolbox links. This is a great place where you can kind of showcase the toolbox in CodeSpace. And as students find concepts and they discover little things throughout the curriculum, they'll be able to click on those things and they can sort of drill in and find out and learn about those concepts. What is the display and how does that work? And how would you work with it in Python? So there's all kinds of great information in the toolbox that they kind of build as they go. And that's part of the interactive textbook nature of CodeSpace. It really combines everything that you need in one place to have a really great learning experience. You don't have to go watch YouTube videos or Google around to find some concepts. Your projects are all built in right there in the environment. So it's going to lead us through building some different projects. And this is one of the kind of the magical pieces of this is, because the development environment that you type your code in is integrated and woven into that learning environment, it allows us to do some really special things to make it more engaging for the students. So here I've got an opportunity to type in some code, so I can actually click and since it's a demo, we're not making you type. Normally the students actually have to type in code. We don't let them copy and paste. But in this case, I can even just click here to copy this to my clipboard. I'm gonna, instead of making a new file, I'm just gonna delete the code that's up here in the default program, paste that code in, and then run it and see what happens. So now it says, hey, you've completed the objective. You ran some code on here, and I've got a heart. I've just written some code to display a heart. If you want to know more about how that code works, there's a thing called the code track. And this is a really great feature of CodeSpace. You click on this little code track icon down here and it will tell you something about the code. So in this case, we just learned a little bit about, it's 2 lines of code to display a heart on the display. And then, you can actually maybe look at this as a challenge. Hey, are there more pics? Are there more, besides pics.heart, what else could you display? So there's some other things you could play around with. This would be a great exercise for younger kids at a table at a STEM fair or something like that, to come up and see what you can do. Can you write your name on the codex? Can you display different images and things like that? You can also play different sounds. There's lots of capabilities there. So we've done it. We've completed that objective. Really nice little demo. And the next demo for CodeX is a light show. It lights up all the really bright, really colorful LEDs on the codex. So there's a great example there. This one, we are also providing you the code. You can look at in the code track and it sort of walks you through a little bit more sophisticated example. There's actually a really simple example of just turning on an LED. And you can type that in, and there's a little bit more of an explanation of what that is. But feel free to type that line of code in, and you can see how you can light up an LED, and you can set it to different colors. So there's lots more tools in the toolbox to investigate. And the code track tells you, or this little check the track box tells you that if you browse in your file system, we've already given you the code that's in the code track, because it's called light show code here. So if I do a file browse, I see that I've got light show code. So if I double click on that, hey, there's the code. I'm just gonna run it. So if you need to do a really quick demo and be able to run that light show code, you can run that. It starts with a message, press A for light show. And if I press A, I get a nice little sparkly light show there. Really cool one. There's a few other things in here. There's one that makes a motion alarm, which is really cool, which has a cat picture, which is great. And there's also one that plays lots of sounds. It's an excerpt from one of our missions in Python with CodeX. And then finally, there's the breakout game, which is kind of the capstone project from Python with CodeX. But it's there for you to just copy. It's a good example of the sophistication you can get to with CodeX. That's it for CodeX. Lots of cool little things you can demo there. If you click upper right-hand corner, you can go select the CodeBot Demos. CodeBot Demos, very similar. It takes you through telling you a little bit about the CodeBot, gets you connected via USB the same kind of way, right? So I can grab my CodeBot here, plug it in via USB, and then the second objective has you lighting up some lights. So blinking an LED is the first thing. And again, you can make your own file and type in some code using the code track here to do that. So it tells you a little bit about what all the pieces of that example are doing. And there's a ready-made file that's on your file system now called blinkers code. So if I browse to it, you'll see that this objective has dropped a new file into your file system called blinkers code. And so each one of these demo objectives, when it puts a file in your file system, and by the way, this is not normally how we do things in CodeSpace. The students are made to actually create those files from scratch, so they have to build it from the ground up. Because it's a demo, we've just deposited those files when you hit that objective onto your file system so you can open them up and use them. And one consequence of that is if you want to make changes to that file, let's say I want to make my own changes, which we very much encourage you to do. So I want to make my own changes to light show code. I need to do file save as and save it to something else. I could call it my light show or something, right? Well, now I can make changes all day long and it's great. If I made changes to the file and then say I browsed away from that objective and came back to it, my changes would be overwritten because we're going to drop that canonical demo file back on your cloud drive there. So all those files, by the way, and new files that you create are they're attached to your account in CodeSpace. They're yours, and you can continue to, build new files, and they'll always be there when you log back in. A few other things on CodeBot I'll note here. We teach you how to rotate the bot. It sort of ends with 2 examples that I really love to do at conferences and things like that. One is an excerpt from our Python with Robots mission pack called Boundary Patrol. It's really cool that your bot runs around. I've got a little board corrugated plastic signboard. You can get these for really cheap. Put some electrical tape around it. You can make a line following course or make a, in this case, just a little bounded area. And you can do one much smaller too and have the CodeBot run around in it. But this is giving you the code for that, which is sort of the capstone of that boundary patrol project in Python with robots. Also some really good toolbox tools showing how we explain all the sensors and then give you the code or teach the students how to write code to exploit those sensors and use them. So there's a little excerpt from the project. And then again, we've given you the boundary patrol code to work with. Also, there's a code track that points out a few things that you might like to experiment with. You know, if you're playing around with this, you might want to change some of these constants, maybe the speed of the bot or how long it backs up and how long it turns, just to change how it behaves. It's not a long program, so you can sort through there, and if you want to, learn a little bit of Python by modifying and playing with that code. Let's try running that demo. We'll open up the boundary patrol code, and I'm just going to click run to load that on my CodeBot. And that kind of satisfies the objective. When boundary patrol loads, it's going to blink a little green LED at the bottom of the bot saying that it's ready, and it's waiting for you to press 0. See the green light's flashing, so we're going to press 0 to get it running. And there you go. So this is a really great demo for tabletops, for conferences. You can use a smaller board if you want to, and just attracts a lot of attention. Try playing around with the speeds of the motors and things like that, and have fun. So that's a really great demo to show. It shows really well the bot's moving and doing really cool stuff. Play with, speeding it up, slowing it down, and having some fun with it. So now that we've done that, beautiful bouncing bot, the final objective or final mission in this demo mission pack actually brings in some virtual robotics. So wouldn't it be cool if you could take that exact same code that's running on the real CodeBot and run it like in a simulation? How cool would that be? Well, check it out. There it is in simulation. We've got a little piece of signboard that's very similar to the one we were using. It's just a 3D modeled version of it. So if we take that exact same boundary patrol code and run it, what's going to happen on the virtual bot? Oh, it's waiting. The green LED is blinking. So I've got to reach over here and click button 0 on the simulated bot, and it takes off. Now in this case, it's going a little bit fast. The simulated bot has got a little bit more fresh batteries than mine did. So I'm gonna have to take that, and we've actually on the code trick here, if I click back on the objective, we actually give you a few tips on that you're probably gonna need to make some adjustments. So you probably want to slow down the motor speed a little bit, and you probably want to back up a little farther. So let's see if we can make those changes. So with motor speed, we slowed down to 40, and we're gonna back up for 0.4 seconds instead of 0.2. So let's do that and try running this again. I'll have to hit reset down here to reset my bot in the center here of the place. Oh, it's waiting for me to press button 0. And now that's a little bit better. And the objective is hit the water bottle. So there we go. I actually beat that objective. And open and close the camera helps. If you want to know how to control the camera in your simulated world, you have to do that. So I'm going to stop the code. But basically that is that's the demo. You can make this demo, if you slow it down right, you can make it where the virtual demo just runs all day long too and stays within the bounds. So it's a really fun one to do. It's cool that you can demonstrate, that the physical robot and the virtual robot actually work exactly the same way. All the same code works on them, and so it's a really neat way to teach. That's really about all there is to the demo mission pack. Definitely reach out to us at info@firialabs.com if you have any questions about any of this, and if you would like a bit more information, we're here to help. Thanks.